How's it going, everyone? Tim here, Tier D Adventures. Hope everyone's all well there. As always, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Yes, it's been quite a while. Yes, I am still here. Y'all aren't getting rid of me quite that easy. It's just wintertime, the holidays, everything back to back, some birthdays, families, and stuff like that, and just Mother Nature not cooperating. I just took just a little bit of time off. One, I haven't been able to crawl in about a month and a half, almost 2 months now, because lately it's just been cold as balls outside. On the weekends, it is either snowing, has snowed during the week, so there's still snow. The rocks are solid sheets of ice, or it's just a muddy slop town because it decides to rain Friday and Saturday, and I crawl on Sundays. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to crawl, and it's just a little frustrating because I'd like to get out and crawl. That's my relaxing and stuff like that. Yes, I can tinker and do all kinds of stuff here, which helps get, at least I'm doing something, but I just need to get out and crawl. And also, I have projects and stuff that I would like to do some videos on. But unfortunately, Mother Nature's not cooperating. So I figured might as well at least just do some form of update, what I've got going on or what's coming on down the line. Hopefully here in the next couple weeks, Mother Nature can cooperate and I can go at least crawl for a little bit. Kind of a little bit of, updates from the bench, winter projects edition. Let's get going. In the description below, I will try to link everything that I have used or mentioned specifically on here. If not, there should be or will be additional more in-depth videos on each of these projects when I can get some crawling footage to go with them and stuff like that. So let's get after it. So first up here is the Red Cat Everest Ascent. In that initial video, we went over, we did some electronics upgrades, wheels and tires, stuff like that. Now we wanted to go a little more in-depth and deeper to it. So first thing first, I did get some brass portal covers there just for a little more weight there in the front, just to help try to keep that front end planted a little bit. I did some shock modifications because these shocks, well, they look good and the quality's good. I don't have any leaking or anything like that. Something about the shocks just did not feel work right. Like I mentioned, so these shocks have an internal spring as well as their external mini spring. So I took all the shocks apart, pulled out that internal spring, and then swapped out all of the mini springs with some Losi springs just for some better tuning options, and changed out the shock oil, and I am much happier with them. I did take it up for just a little bit after I did those things, and I did notice it helped out quite a bit. But I wanted to take it a step further because honestly, the Ascent needs some help. Well, it has a very nice price point of $300. It's going to need some help to really kind of, the idea is there. You look at the Ascent, the idea is there. Just some things just weren't quite working right, and it was just needing help in just a few areas. Especially if you were trying to compare to like the S610 Pro or the Vanquish VRD, it wasn't there. Those two trucks are just that much superior than the Ascent in its stock form and stuff like that. So I knew aftermarket companies were going to get the support on this rather quickly, and they did. So first thing we did here is the Rock Warrior chassis from DSM Off-Road. Very nice chassis. Carbon fiber, the overall profile of the chassis is down. Comes with a motor mount that drops that motor, everything down a little bit lower, which is good, getting that motor, everything as low as it can, getting that weight down low, helping your CG and stuff like that. The shock towers around, and gets that overall profile down lower, and it does actually move the shocks to a better position. The stock shocks are mounted on top of the axle, not on the side where they are on every other good axle. So got the shocks in a better position overall. You're able to get some better angles and adjustment out of them as well. Also, one additional thing I did get from them is their sliders for the Rock Warrior chassis. So again, I will link all that down below in the description. And overall, once just got the chassis and everything built, it just has a much better overall stance to it. I gained some clearance here in the rear, which was much needed. And just doing some in here, just some board testing, it has a better planted feel to it, a little more predictable. And I feel like I could put a little more trust into it when trying harder lines and stuff like that. Before, I was like, I'll trust it, and then it would just lay over on me. So I definitely feel like I can trust it a little bit more. The big change here with this chassis is going from the stock flat skid to a 6-degree angle skid here. So that's going to overall help with that breakover and stuff like that. So again, I'm very excited to eventually get this out on the rocks and crawl with it. I think this is going to be a huge improvement and a huge step in the right direction of actually trying to get as much performance out of this truck as we can. And we'll get more in depth on that when I can actually get some crawling footage to go with it. So on to the next project. Next up here is simply a Capra, or specifically the RCR 4-wheel steer Capra from Axial. It's been a while since I've had a Capra in its stock form, stuff like that. Overall, they're always just fun to go around and trail and crawl with and stuff like that. And they have potential. You just had to put in a little bit of effort, do a few mods, and you can make them very, very capable and have some fun with it. And I wasn't necessarily looking to get a Capra, but around Thanksgiving time, I was scrolling around on Tower Hobbies, and every once in a while they have like a scratch and dent section, which can have some very good deals, and they had the four-wheel steer Capra on there. They had it marked $200 off because the light bar was defective. The front light bar did not work. The light bar is only $15 and I could get it on Prime. So $200 off for a $15 light bar, that made it a really good deal, especially for four-wheel steer Capra axles. Even if I wasn't going to do everything I did here, just for four-wheel steer Capra axles and a few other things, so that was kind of worth it, even if I was just going to use it for parts. But nonetheless, we got on the way, we got it here, and I was like, you know what? I actually did drive it stock, and it was painful, but it was super fun again, just to kind of go back to the basics of a stock Essence truck. The controller works good. I like how the four-wheel steer is set on that stock controller to the quarter turns, to the full turns. That is actually really nice and convenient for anybody using four-wheel steer. I do prefer independent rear steer, but that one, if I didn't have that, this is really nice just to simply click, and it does have that control of just the rear axle itself. So that is also a really nice feature. But nonetheless, we went to town on it, and I will get deeper into all the details in its own video, because actually I still have some parts coming for this because we decided to go a little bit overboard. But in the meantime, just the basics. Obviously, wheels and tires. More so proud of these wheels because I've hunted these down for quite some time. These were a limited 1.9 wheel from Vision RC with the etched American flag in there. I've just been hunting them down, waiting for them to pop up for at least a decent price, and finally saw some and snagged some thanks to Theron, who saw them first and proceeded to tag me in the post. So got them all done. Obviously got electronics taken care of. We went with 3 Brothers RC G13 Pro servos, both front and rear, so direct power, 4S servos, plenty and all the power and speed you need in a servo. And then for motor ESC, we went with the Kratos 3350 kV motor. Bit excessive, but it's going to be fun. And we paired that with the Mamba Micro X2 ESC because they're both sensored, so they mesh together just like that. And even though in being a high kV motor, amazing low in control, torque, and speed like that. So I'm not worried whether I'm super slow crawling or just holding it wide open. The motor's going to work through all of my ranges, so no problems or issues there. And then I did swap out the shocks with some Traxxas 2660s. We also went after the links. We got some high clearance links from Hardcore RC. Just some high clearance links, but also stretched out that wheelbase a little bit to just over 13, because the Capra, I've always found the Capra, when you get it to 13, that 13.25 range, it is very, very good, on point. Just really helps, especially with the cage, because the cage is a little more top heavy. So it definitely helps to kind of spread that out, give you a little more stability and control. And then the big thing I did was swap out the stock transmission and skid plate. If I've ever mentioned a stock Capra, I've always mentioned was never a fan of the stock transmission. The gearing was just never right. I never used the dig feature, especially with four-wheel steer. I'm not going to use dig because I have four-wheel steer. It's better. So we swapped that out. We got a flat skid from Tech Factory Racing that has the traditional axial 4-bolt transmission style, and we put in a super shafty F6 transmission. And again, I'll go more into detail on all those in its own related video. Again, once I can get some crawling in, and I am waiting on one more part to have it all done, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. So stay tuned for that as soon as Mother Nature starts to cooperate. And another one that we'll start working on here pretty soon, we're going to be doing a chassis build here from Deluxe. This is their Nessie chassis. I'm going to be building this with the AR45 straight axles from my SCX10 Pro, because I haven't driven it a whole lot more, and I don't have like a straight axle cheater rig really, so I wanted to build one. So we picked up a Nessie chassis. I had one of these before, got it, liked it, built it. I just ended up not driving it. Someone was looking for a chassis setup, and it had everything they wanted, so I ended up letting them take over that project. But then I felt tanker. I was like, you know what? I still want to build one of those and do it myself. So we're going to snag one, and the chassis just comes with all sorts of goodies and stuff like that. We'll link the Nessie below, and we'll go into all the details on this chassis when we actually get the build and everything else rolling. The next little project here on the bench is the Stance RTR from Vanquish. So I did have to snag another one of these. One, because my man Austin at Corrupt Carmworks also released a VRD chassis swap, and I really like my hardline, and I don't want to change all that out. So I was debating on getting another VRD carbon to build one of these chassis anyway, but then Vanquish released an entire RTR, and I really liked the tennis green body that they come with and everything. So I was like, and it comes with metal rails versus carbon fiber. So I was like, perfect. Gives me a reason to swap out the rails and do a project. So we are going to get that going. This is the Battle Axe 2.0 from Corrupt Carbonworks. It is a direct VRD swap chassis. And I got motor, ECs, all the goodies and stuff that are in stock. There are a few things that I want to do it, but parts aren't available for right now. So we're just going to skip those for right now. Super excited for this one. I don't feel the need to do a unboxing a stock drive video because there are a ton of them, especially on this truck specifically. There are a ton of videos on the stock driving, so we're just going to dive right into it and get after it. But that being said, when it comes to like RTR performance, you know, you want an RTR truck performance, something that you can take out of the box and have confidence comp with it. Vanquish pretty much said, hold my beer, and released this, which is what, $479, so $480. And even if you're not performance, just the overall quality of the truck and everything like that, it's probably one of the best bang for the bucks out there, period. But definitely excited to get this one going. So that's going to wrap that one up. I'll link everything down in the description below that I've mentioned specifically on here. But again, each one, I'll do videos again more in depth once I can get crawling. Honestly, it's been frustrating not being able to crawl. I've been working on some builds and getting some stuff done. I just haven't been able to go out and enjoy them or even get videos and stuff done. But like I said, hopefully here in the next couple weeks, everything's starting to look good, and we'll get some videos just rolling out here very shortly. And I think here in the next month or two, we'll start getting some local comps and some practice comps going. So I'll get some videos of just that stuff going, just some good old-fashioned crawling. Maybe putting each one of these kind of through their tests, through some gates and stuff like that, because I think that's what everyone really wants to see. Stay tuned for that. You know, we'll get busy. We're going to start 2024 off with a bang and get going. So hopefully another good year. Again, thanks everyone for watching, for your support. Always much appreciated. If you do like the video, like the channel, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, everyone, have a great one. Crawl on.